Diablo IV is set to introduce some new online MMO elements that haven't been seen in the Diablo franchise before. One of these elements is a shared open world. This is a world that you won't explore alone in your own closed session, but rather one that you'll share with other players as you work together to banish evil to the depths of hell or compete against each other in PvP battles. In this video you'll learn all about Sanctuary in Diablo IV, what makes the shared world so special, how you'll explore it, and what you can expect to discover and do. And at the end of the video, I'll be giving away a Diablo IV beta early access key for a platform of your choice. So make sure to stick around until the end to find out how you can win. In Diablo IV, we'll see more of Sanctuary than in any previous installment of the game. The playable area that you'll explore throughout the campaign and main story is much larger than in Diablo I, Diablo II, and even Diablo III. Aside from Caldeum, which we already visited in Diablo III, it's also a completely new area. And because it's a shared world for all of us, it's entirely handmade. This means that we'll all experience the same world with the same secrets, hidden items, events and dungeons. The overworld is divided into 5 regions: the Fractured Peaks, Gosglen, the Dry Steppes, Kyrgyzstan and Havazar. On top of that, it's already been confirmed that we'll also descend into the depths of hell. Unlike before, this time the open world is free to explore, so you can travel directly to different areas without playing through the main story acts first. And the best part, the transition between different regions is seamless, with no loading screens or the need for fast travel. A day-night cycle and various weather effects dynamically change the appearance and visibility of the open world, adding more variety. And the 5 regions are visually very distinct from each other. The Fractured Peaks, which is our starting area in Diablo IV, is a snowy, inhospitable, icy mountain world. The developers were heavily inspired by the Carpathians for this area. The adjacent area of Gosglen, which is very reminiscent of Scotland and represents the home of the Druids, is located in the northeast of Sanctuary. Kyrgyzstan is the southwestern part of our game world in Diablo IV. The desert landscape around Caldeum is already partially familiar to us from Diablo III. The Dry Steppes, located north of Kyrgyzstan, is a rugged desert mountain region. And Havazar, located south of the Fractured Peaks, is the swamp region in Sanctuary. The developers have already emphasized that the transitions between the different zones not only play smoothly, but also visually represent a real connection. So for example, as you ride from the Fractured Peaks south to Havazar, the snow will melt more and more as you go deeper. This creates streams, rivers and waterfalls that ultimately lead to the swamp in Havazar. These logical and geologically realistic transitions make the overworld a unified and credible experience. This, of course, is a purely visual but very nice detail in my opinion. As Diablo IV's individual zones are said to be 10 to 20 times larger than any of the previous areas in Diablo III, players will have access to their first ever mount to help them traverse these vast distances. However, rest assured that there will still be fast travel points throughout the game, such as in the over 100 villages, settlements and towns featured. These locations will serve as hubs where you can encounter merchants, manage and upgrade your equipment, and socialize with other players. Compared to the rest of the open world, you'll find the highest density of other players in these towns and settlements. The developers have taken great care to preserve the danger, loneliness and isolation of Sanctuary by not overcrowding it with players constantly crossing paths. In the open world, away from events, you'll rarely encounter other players, ensuring a predominantly private gaming experience. The likelihood of meeting other players will dynamically adjust during certain events like open world bosses. In the beta, for example, you can team up with up to 12 players in an instance to take on these formidable foes. But you will always run into more players in towns, which also serves as a great opportunity to showcase your skins and cosmetics and encourage others, as Blizzard most certainly is hoping, to spend money on the in-game store themselves. This approach has already proven successful in, for example, Path of Exile or many other games, for instance MMOs. And if you've enjoyed the video so far, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel for more Diablo IV content. Don't forget to turn on notifications to stay up to date with my latest videos. Now let's get back to the video and discuss a very special activity making a return in Diablo 4, PvP in form of the Fields of Hatred. These dedicated PvP zones allow you to battle other players, defeat bosses, loot chests and participate in various activities while collecting Seeds of Hatred. To be able to keep the seeds, you must bring them to the altar of extraction, where they will be turned into red dust. This obviously takes some time and leaves you vulnerable to attack from other players looking to steal your seeds. Once you successfully converted your seeds to red dust, you won't lose it upon death and you can exchange it for cosmetic items with the appropriate merchant. If you excel in the Fields of Hatred, a bounty will be placed on your head, so be prepared for the entire server to be gunning for you. Don't worry though, PvP in Diablo 4 is completely optional and limited exclusively to the Fields of Hatred. Aside from PvP, you'll have plenty to do in the open world to strengthen your character and obtain impressive gear. Loot in Diablo 4 is instanced, so you won't have to compete with others for equipment. Everyone sees and receives their own personal loot. Scattered throughout Sanctuary are the altars of Lilith that grant a permanent stat boost to your current character and all account-wide characters. For each altar you can receive either +2 intelligence, +2 strength, +2 dexterity, +2 willpower or +8 maximum life. Like I said, these boosts apply to all your characters. While exploring, you may stumble upon random events that require you to complete various small tasks, guide a lost soul to its destination, or feed a bloody obelisk with offerings. These mini-events offer a bit of loot and rewards on the side. Legion events, on the other hand, are larger scale encounters that are marked on the map where you must defeat a massive horde of demons. Some of these events may require multiple players and promise even more loot. These events are replayable, ensuring continuous engagement. And open world bosses can also appear randomly on the map and pose a significant challenge. 2 of the 3 known bosses include the pestilent dragon Ashava, which we will encounter during the beta, and this gold vomiting demon that flings its chest around and jumps through portals. For a true challenge, you can attempt to conquer a stronghold. Strongholds are zones overrun by hordes of demons and guarded by a boss that you must liberate. These areas have a specific level requirement and are instanced, providing a private experience for you or your party. After completing a stronghold, you receive substantial rewards and leave a lasting impact on the game world. Liberating a stronghold may revitalize an area, bringing back humans and merchants to their former home, or sometimes even unlocking access to a new dungeon. And this brings us to a core feature in Diablo games: dungeons. Unlike the open world, dungeons will continue to be procedurally generated. While the theme remains consistent, each dungeon's layout will vary every time you play. A spider's nest dungeon, for example, will always be a spider's nest, but the pathways in the dungeon will change every time you tackle it. Dungeons are also private experiences where you won't encounter other players. Over 150 dungeons will be available in the game, and completing them grants not only loot, but also a new item for your entire account, a legendary aspect. If you haven't heard about legendary aspects and the Codex of Power, check out my video on Diablo 4's itemization and loot system, linked here on screen and in the video description. The design team also has paid great attention to detail in the dungeons, ensuring that their appearance reflects the region in which they are located. For example, sand will trickle from the ceiling in dungeons within the dry steppes, while dungeons in Havizar will be partially flooded and muddy. This attention to detail also extends to your enemies. Goatmen in the Shattered Peaks will have thick fur, while those in the dry steppes will be more barren. The same principle applies to the equipment you can find, which will be themed according to the region in which you obtain it. As you can see, the design decisions for Sanctuary in Diablo 4 aim to provide a cohesive and enjoyable gaming experience. I just hope the content is as deep and engaging as the beautiful exterior, offering enough to explore and discover for a long time to come. What do you think? Will Diablo 4 be more style than substance, or will we get a Diablo installment that will keep us entertained for years? Let me know in the comments down below. Now let's get to the beta early access key giveaway. To enter, simply subscribe to my channel and leave a comment with the class you'd like to play first in the beta. I'll contact the winner directly via the comment section as soon as the early access beta begins, so keep an eye on your notifications. Good luck to everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please give it a thumbs up and check out my latest video shown on the screen. Have an awesome day and I'll catch you in the next one.